My boss does not know I am his wife. My name is Maya. I sit at a small desk outside his large, imposing office. I answer his endless phone calls. I bring him his coffee every single morning. I organize the papers of a life I am not allowed to be part of. He looks directly at me, but he does not see me. To him, I am just another employee. I am just Maya, the assistant. But to me, he is David. He is my husband. This is a strange story. It is a story carved from sorrow, but it is also a story written in the ink of unwavering love. It is a story about the silent, screaming act of waiting. Perhaps you have waited for someone too. Perhaps you know this hollow ache inside my chest. I need to tell you how this happened. I need to tell you about my life. I grew up in a world of green and gold. A small village where the sky met a winding blue river. Life was a simple, beautiful song. We did not have riches, but we had a wealth of happiness. And I had David. We met when our worlds were only as big as each other. We were neighbors, companions, two souls growing side by side. He was kind, with a strength that was gentle. He had a smile that felt like the sun breaking through the clouds. And we fell in love. A deep, quiet, forever kind of love. In our village, hearts married young. So when I was 18 and he was 20, we pledged our lives together. It was a small wedding. My mother stitched my simple white dress. We had no grand party, only our families and this overwhelming, beautiful certainty. I was incandescent with joy. I believed our future was a straight, sunlit path. But David dreamed in larger landscapes. Maya, he said to me one night, his voice thick with ambition. I love you, but I cannot stay here. I want to give you the world. I will go to America. I will work, I will build a fortune, and I will return for you. My heart shattered into 1,000 terrified pieces. America was a universe away. Please stay, I begged, my voice trembling. We have enough right here. No, he said, his eyes blazing with promise. Trust me. Just 2 years. I will write every week. I will never forget you. I loved him. So, with a heart heavier than stone, I trusted him. I said goodbye at a dusty bus station, the air smelling of diesel and despair. I cried. He held my face in his hands. Do not cry, my Maya, he whispered. You are my wife. I will come back to you. He boarded the bus. The engine growled to life. And I watched. I watched until the vehicle became a speck and then vanished entirely. A physical pain tore through my chest. The silence he left behind was deafening. For the first year, his letters were my lifeline. I slept with them beneath my pillow, their pages soft from my touch. He spoke of a busy, towering America. He missed me. I existed in a state of suspended animation, waiting. And then, the letters stopped. 1 week passed. Nothing. 1 month. A hollow silence. I haunted the post office, a ghost of hope. The postman's eyes would meet mine, filled with a pity that felt like a wound. No letter today, Maya. Years bled into years. 1, then 2, then 5. The village whispers began, sharp and poisonous. He found another woman. He forgot you. You are a fool, Maya. Forget him. My own mother, her face lined with worry, pleaded with me. David is gone, my child. Do not let your life wither waiting for a shadow. But I could not forget. I wore my wedding ring on a chain, a secret against my skin. In my heart, a stubborn, unshakable flame still burned. I felt he was alive. I felt he needed me. So I made a decision. I could no longer live in a museum of our memories. Every path, every tree, the river's song, it all echoed with his absence. I would either find him or build a life strong enough to survive the loss. I began to study English with a furious, desperate intensity. Nights were spent with books, my voice aching from practice. I would make myself anew. After 7 long years, I left the village. The city was a roaring, terrifying beast. It was all noise and concrete and anonymous crowds. I felt utterly invisible. But a new strength, forged in grief, held me upright. I found work. I saved money. I attended university at night. I learned to wear city clothes like armor. 10 years had sculpted me into a different woman, professional, capable, independent. But beneath my blouse, the ring still rested, warm against my heart. I was still his Maya. Then I got the job, an assistant to the CEO of a vast international company. They warned me he was important, strict, formidable, that he had built his empire in America. My first day, I dressed with care, my nerves fluttering like trapped birds. The office was all glass and cold light, overlooking the endless city. "The boss is coming," someone hissed. I stood. The door swung open, and my world stopped. A man walked in, tailored in a gray suit, attention on his phone. He was older, touched by gray, his face hardened by time and pressure. But I would know him in any life, in any form. It was David. My blood turned to ice. My breath vanished. He stopped before my desk and finally looked up. Our eyes met. Time stretched into an eternity. My soul screamed his name. "Who are you?" he asked. His voice was flat, cold, utterly empty. The question was a knife to my core. I am the new assistant," I stammered, my voice betraying me. "What is your name?" "Maya," I whispered, offering him the most precious part of myself. He showed no reaction. None. The name meant nothing to him. "Okay, Maya. Bring me coffee. Black, no sugar. And the files on my desk." He turned and walked away, closing his door on our past. I stood frozen, trembling. How could the man who vowed to love me forever look through me as if I were glass? I stumbled to the bathroom, locked the door, and stared at my reflection through a veil of tears. Had I changed so much? Or had he simply erased me? I made his coffee. Black, no sugar. But the David I knew loved sweetness. A reckless hope took hold. I stirred in a single spoon of sugar. I placed the cup on his desk. He took a sip and paused. A faint line appeared between his brows. "I said no sugar," he stated, but his tone was curious, not angry. "I am sorry, sir," I breathed. He took another sip, his gaze distant. "It's all right. Actually, this tastes familiar." Familiar. The word was a lifeline. Days became a painful routine. I watched the love of my life, now a stressed, lonely man, shouting into phones, working until exhaustion. His office held no photos, no traces of a personal touch. He was a king in a barren castle. Then, one day, I overheard a conversation. His voice, strained, talking to a doctor. "The headaches. From the accident. It's been nearly a decade." A pause. "I know I lost all memory from before. I know I can't remember my childhood." I gasped, my hand flying to my mouth. An accident. Amnesia. The truth crashed over me, a wave of devastating relief and profound sorrow. He didn't abandon me. He was lost, trapped inside his own mind. Now I knew. But the truth was a fragile, dangerous thing. If I told him, I am your wife, he would see a madwoman or a gold digger. So I made a silent vow. I would not tell him. I would make him remember. I began a gentle invasion of his forgotten world. I placed yellow honey blossoms from our village on his desk. He inhaled their scent and stood transfixed. "This smell," he whispered, eyes closed. "It makes me feel a profound joy and a deep, unnameable sadness." During a violent storm with a power out, we sat together in the dark. "I hate storms," he confessed, his voice oddly vulnerable in the gloom. "I love them," I said softly. "My husband, he loved them too. We would watch the rain together." "You are married?" he asked, a strange tension in his voice. "I was," I said, the darkness giving me courage. "He left long ago." "I am sorry," he said, and his sincerity warmed the space between us. "I was told I was never married, but sometimes I feel like I am missing a vital piece of myself. Like I left my heart somewhere, and I cannot find the way back." Tears burned my eyes. "Tell me about your husband," he urged gently. In the safe, anonymous dark, I painted his own portrait for him. "He was kind," I began, my voice trembling. "He dreamed big dreams. He had a smile that could light up the darkest night. He promised to come back to me." "He sounds like a good man," David said, his own voice thick. "Why didn't he return?" "I believe he got lost," I whispered. "I believe he simply forgot the way home." David was silent for a long moment. "If he has any sense at all," he finally said, "he will spend his life trying to find that path again. You sound like a remarkable woman, Maya. He is a fool to have forgotten you." The irony was a beautiful, painful ache in my soul. A shift occurred after that night, a thaw. He asked me to lunch, claiming business, but we spoke of everything else. "I feel comfortable with you, Maya," he admitted, seeming surprised by his own words. "I don't know why." "Call me David," he said suddenly. Saying his name aloud felt like a sacrament. "David?" He asked about my village, and then, hesitantly, he shared his dreams. "I see a river, and a girl with long hair laughing. I know I loved her, but her face is always blurred." My heart hammered against my ribs. This was the moment. From my bag, I drew the faded black and white photograph. Our wedding day by the river. My hand shook as I slid it across the table. "David, look at this." He took the photo. His eyes scanned it, then froze. The color drained from his face. His hands began to tremble violently. Who is this?" he breathed, his voice cracking. "Look closely," I urged, every fiber of my being focused on him. His finger traced the image of the young man, his own youthful face. Then his gaze flew to the young woman, her smile, her eyes. Then he looked up at me, really looked at me for the first time in 10 years. His eyes widened in dawning, earth-shattering recognition. Tears welled, spilling over. This is me," he choked out. He stared at the woman in the photo, then back at me, his soul reawakening. "And this is you." "Yes," I said, tears streaming freely down my face. "I am Maya. I am your wife." The photo fluttered from his grasp. He pressed his hands to his head as if it were splitting open. A raw, guttural sound escaped him. "Oh God, Maya. Maya." He said my name like a prayer, like a long-lost word finally remembered. I remember the bus, my promise, the accident. I woke up with no past. I forgot you. My God, I forgot you. He sobbed, great heaving sobs that shook his broad shoulders. I left you alone for a decade. I reached across the table and took his hand, my husband's hand. The feel of his skin was a memory made flesh. You are here now, I whispered, my voice fierce with love. I made you wait, he cried, his anguish laid bare. I am a terrible husband. No, I said firmly. You had an accident. You did not choose this. I waited because I always knew. I knew my David was still there. He clung to my hand as if I were the only solid thing in a breaking world. I felt it, he whispered, awestruck. The first day I saw you in the office, my heart, it was a dormant stone and it suddenly beat again. I didn't understand why, but now I know. It was recognizing you. It was always you. He stood, moved to my side of the table, and pulled me into an embrace that crushed the years between us. I buried my face in his suit, and beneath the scent of expensive wool, I found him, the familiar, essential scent of my David. I did not care about the staring restaurant patrons. I held my husband. After 10 endless years, I was finally home. I love you, Maya, he murmured into my hair, the words rusty but true. I remember loving you. It's all flooding back. The river, your mother's dress, the feeling of your hand in mine. I love you too, David, I sighed, the words a sacred vow renewed. We walked in the park for hours, hands tightly clasped, as he asked a torrent of questions, piecing his life back together with my answers. When I showed him the ring on its chain, he touched it with reverence. Put it on your finger, he said, his voice thick. I slid the simple band onto my finger. It still fit perfectly. I'll buy you a new one, he promised, a diamond. I don't want a diamond, I said, looking into his eyes, now so full of the man I loved. I want this one. This is the ring you gave me with your whole heart. He smiled then, his real, old, beautiful smile, and it was like seeing the sun after a lifetime of winter. His penthouse was cold and sterile, a monument to a lonely life. We will fill it with warmth, I promised. And we did not rush. We courted each other anew, two changed people learning to love their new selves and rediscovering the ancient love that bound their souls. It was not easy. Guilt haunted him. Lost time was a ghost in our home. We could have had a lifetime, he would lament during his darker moments. Look forward, I would tell him, cradling his face. We have the rest of our lives now. A year later, we returned to the village. My mother wept, clutching him to her, calling him son. Walking by the river, he remembered. He remembered it all. He turned to me, his eyes clear and full. Maya, he said, thank you. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for loving a stranger back into the man who loves you. Love is patient, I said, leaning into him. Love always finds a way home. Now we have a son with his father's brilliant smile. Life is not a perfect fairy tale. It is real, with struggles and storms. But when I bring David his coffee in our sunny kitchen, he looks at me, truly sees me, and smiles. Good morning, my love, he says. He knows who I am. He knows I am his wife, his partner, the keeper of his past and the promise of his future. And that knowledge is the most profound, beautiful victory of my life. So if you are waiting, if your road is long and shadowed, hold on. Be patient. Be brave. For love is a force more powerful than time, than distance, than even memory itself. It is the compass that always, always points the way home. I am Maya, and this was our story. Thank you for listening.